Hey everyone, it's Nick. Today we are going to take a look at the observer block, which has been in Minecraft Pocket Edition for quite some time, but now as of 1.11 we also have it on computer and also on the console version of the game, I think. So first of all, let's take a look at the crafting recipe, which is fairly cheap considering that it only uses materials which you should have gathered in about 2 days of playing in your world, which is redstone, nether quartz and cobblestone. Now if we craft it using 6 cobblestone, 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom, 2 redstone and then 1 quartz, which you can find in the nether, as the name implies, you will get an observer block. Now it doesn't matter where the nether quartz is, it can either be left or right, but not in the middle. Okay? Let's grab the observer and place it down and remind ourselves that it is placed similar to a piston. So where you would have a piston head right here, there's this red thing that blinks when you place it down, which is facing you. Now that is the redstone output, which you can remember because it's redstone, and it blinks, power, okay? Yep. Pretty straightforward, I guess. Now on the other side of the observer block there's something that looks like an outlet or a face, which is probably more fitting considering that this observes something. Now the face or the eyes of the observer block will observe anything that's directly in front of it. So for example, when I place a block, there will be a short redstone pulse right there. But this could also be done with a simpler contraption using, for example, a redstone torch and a repeater and some redstone dust, like this. If you place a block, the redstone will be activated, and if you remove it, it will be deactivated. So nothing special yet, but this is where the observer block comes into action. If you have, for example, a block of grass, and place that down here, of course the redstone will go off. But if you have a sheep farm, for example, or anything else that can change the grass into something else like dirt, it will also output a signal. So for instance, when the sheep eats away at the grass, there's only dirt, there will be a redstone output. Now I don't have a sheep right now, but what we can do is use a hoe and till this soil. You can see there's a redstone output every time I till the soil. Now it reverts back to dirt pretty quickly because I have my tick speed up, but basically that's how it works. So every time not only the block changes, but sort of the texture and also the data of the block changes, this will output a signal. Now this also works for furnaces, for example, which can be quite handy for a smelting array. If you let's cook some raw pork chop, why not? And put all of that in there, there will be a redstone output. Now this will also happen once the flames right here go away, so you know once your meat is ready or once the coal is burned up, and when you put something in it. Now this may seem quite cool to you in the first place, but you don't really know what you can do with it after that. And there are some cool inventions out there already using these observer blocks, like this by Reddit user ShiroSuke92, which looks complicated at first, but once you understand what's going on, it's fairly basic. So down here we have a dispenser with a water bucket inside. On that is a button, and there's just item frames around it so you can see the button more easily. So let's place that back there. Okay, and then on top is a sticky piston with an observer block whose face is facing upwards on top. Okay, so now when we hit this button, this happens. Okay, so we activate the dispenser, water is being put out, and that's usually what the dispenser would do without this stuff on top. And now the water is sucked back in automatically. And that is because of the piston and the observer block. So when we hit this button, the piston pushes out the observer block. Now this observer block observes itself being pushed up because something changed within its sight, I guess. And then there will be a redstone output from the red part of the observer block, which is down here. Now that, via quasi-connectivity, powers this dispenser. Now what that means is basically that the redstone output this observer block puts out travels right to the dispenser again through the piston somehow, and then powers the dispenser again, so the water is sucked back in. Now this is useful for farms that use water flushing mechanisms. For example, like this. Let's just place down some seeds. As I said, it's fairly quickly growing because of my tick speed, and yeah, once we hit that button once, all the wheat will be flushed away just like this, and we can just walk around, collect our wheat. We don't have to destroy every plant individually with just the press of one button. Now it would be cool if we had something to automate the planting as well, but that's where you can enslave villagers, for example. But that's another topic. So this is the basic principle of the observer block. It's not too complicated. Once you get the hang of it, you just can observe anything that's in front of the observer's eyes and then use a redstone output to do whatever you want with it. Okay, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more. I'm NiclasBlocko, and I'm out. See you next time.